Hey there, Malcontents is here. It's the Malcontent. We just went live. We're in Bellevue, Washington. I think by the time Franklin Graham, yeah, it's 9:30. Franklin Graham should have finished dinner. Would probably presume he is staying at the Hyatt. I can tell you what we know up to this point. There's been two groups here. There's actually been about 4 groups that have churned through the day. There is a group of Back the Blue right-wing protesters, kind of a motley crew of Back the Blue, anti-mask, anti-vax. At least one known Proud Boy is there who was saying back the yellow to the police earlier in this evening. You can kind of see their flags waving in the background.
There's no scarcity. Stocks are at an all-time high.
You then have
cash,
directly to my left, there is a group that is aligned with Antifa that are here to protest against the police, to protest against Seattle police, to protest against Franklin Graham and the dinner that he's doing and the things that Franklin Graham stands for, including his very, very strong rhetoric on the LGBTQ community and anti-Muslim community.
They don't know what to do with it.
These two groups were originally separated. They were separated by bike cops from the Bellevue Police Department. Bellevue Police Department pulled back. The bike cops pulled at the intersection that would actually be directly behind me.
And kicking them when they're down.
The two groups merged together right here in front of the Bellevue Place, which is essentially a kitty corner to the Hyatt. And the bike police have come and separated those two groups. There was maybe, it's a little hard to estimate, but there was maybe 40 or 50 protesters here aligned, say, with Antifa, and on the left, there was at the peak maybe 15 or 20 protesters aligned with Back the Blue. Of those 15 to 20, there's at least 5 that are known streamers. Katie Davis-Court is here, Josh is here, Jake from Behind Emmy Lines is here. So I mean, there's just 3 I rattled off right off the top, 3 or 4 that are rattled right off the top of my head. So right now, I would, Omari's Funky Scale, 1 to 10, it's like a 2. Things are pretty chill right now with everybody. And I have been, if you want to see what was going on earlier, we've been...
The event at the Hyatt is over.
So the dulcet tones of DJ L. Red.
When you choose to leave, please sit on the sidewalks, but also leave room for other pedestrian traffic.
So basically, I guess you probably heard what they said.
This is the Bellevue Police Department. Please be mindful that the intersection and the roadways are open. Please stay on the sidewalks for your safety.
Get you at least press some bumper stickers and put them on your car. You got too much to ask for. You got too much to ask.
No, that's my question. Barely anyone.
It would be a really nice gesture, don't you think? Don't you think?
This is the Bellevue Police Department.
It'd be a nice gesture.
We are here to make sure that your expression of First Amendment right is safe, but also peaceful. The event at the Hyatt is over, and all of the guests have left. When you choose to leave, please remain on the sidewalks and also allow room for other pedestrian traffic. Please be mindful of the car traffic driving the roadways. Stay on the sidewalks for your safety. This is the Bellevue Police Department. We apologize to the residents and businesses at Bellevue Way Northeast 8 for the disruption of the traffic. We're working on clearing intersections and maintaining safe expression of First Amendment rights for this event.
Is there any progress within the department to give people resources, or have you quit that? Is there any progress whatsoever within the department to give people resources? I know people were advocating for it.
All right, hey there, TikTok. You've just been added. So you've just joined. You're on TikTok. You've just joined our feed on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And we are in Bellevue, Washington. And Franklin Graham, who is the son of Billy Graham and the head of the Billy Graham Evangelical Association, was speaking at the Bellevue Hyatt at a Back the Blue, I shouldn't say a Back the Blue, a quote-unquote police appreciation dinner. The Seattle Police Department, acting Seattle Police Chief, Adrian Diaz, on April 16, rescinded the invite because of Franklin Graham's strong stance on LGBTQIA and Muslims, but particularly on LGBTQIA after the complaints came in from a Seattle police officer on the invite. So Franklin Graham is done speaking. There have been protests going on here in Bellevue, Washington since about 4 o'clock this afternoon, and they have been going on basically all day. And there's been a varying number of people in those protests. So there have been some small groups, and they've been some bigger groups. And right now,
This guy is a joke. This is a joke already.
So-
With the Mormon face.
so what?
Baby face.
Yeah.
So sorry, it's a funny comment. Just lost my composure for a minute. For those. To give you kind of what happened in the last hour, there is a group of people aligned with Antifa. That group is just to my left and a couple of people behind. There are some people that were here with Back the Blue. I don't see their flags anymore. They were literally behind this group of police officers on TikTok. I zoomed in on the live earlier and showed. If I zoom in on the TikTok, they were where I'm kind of basically zooming in. I don't see them anymore, so I don't know. I'm under the impression that they've left at this point or pulled back at this point. There was maybe at the most.
We have the limited scope authority.
You're giving me all my information.
Free distance between
I
two groups.
really don't know what just happened. So, as I was saying, what happened, this group with Antifa, they walked through Bellevue. There was no breaking, burning, whatever, any of that happened. They simply just walked with the Bellevue police backed up by the Seattle Police Department. And so they came to this intersection. Originally, the protesters aligned to the left were literally on the left side of the road. The blue people were at this corner that we're at now. There's maybe 10 Back the Blue people. There's maybe 30, 40 at the most. And people aligned to the left. Bike cops came between the two groups. That's this phalanx of bike cops that you see on camera here. They rode in between. Then the bike cops said they're reopening the traffic intersection. They pulled out of the intersections and the two groups came together. When those two groups came together, the bike police then moved in again to separate those two groups. And now there is just kind of a standoff that is going on at this moment. And that's probably the best way to describe everything that's going on. And I would almost describe the corner that I'm at here right now as like a press corner.
Kuwait, right? Kuwait. Maynard or Kuwait? Kuwait or something like that? Kuwait? I can't pronounce it.
So if people have questions, particularly on our TikTok channel, right now things are are chill, and I'm just kind of holding the camera in place. So folks on our TikTok channel in particular, if you want to ask questions, this is a good time for a Q&A. And I either about us, our channel, our news coverage, what we do, or try to explain to you what's going on here. Right now we are live, and we are in Bellevue, Washington, where there is a protest going on against the Reverend Franklin Graham of Samaritan's Purse and the Billy Graham Evangelical Association, and additionally in protest of a police appreciation dinner that was being put on obstinately for the Seattle Police Department when that invite was pulled back by the Seattle City Council, and acting chief Adrian Diaz of the Seattle Police Department, BGEA, turned this into any police department could show up. It is worth noting that the Bellevue Police Department has said on the record they never received a direct invitation, and that nobody from the Bellevue Police Department is participating in the dinner. The other thing that we had heard is that Bellevue Police within the hotel is not providing any additional security to Franklin Graham. There's something going, something. They're loving my coverage behind me. There's something, I don't know.
I know.
Can you not see the 60 cops here, buddy? Why do you stand on the side? Let him go! Let him go! Now you're standing up for somebody. Now you're standing up for somebody. Now you're standing up for somebody. Hey, watch out, watch
Please listen
out,
to the
watch
lawful
out.
orders given by the police officers in order to maintain safe
Watch out for the cops,
opposing
watch out for the
groups.
cops.
You're in a content-neutral manner
Now
to ensure
you're
there is
standing
no
up for
violence,
somebody.
no injuries, no
Why do you
problems.
stand up for
These acts are not protected by your First Amendment
Why
right.
do you stand up for
Please be safe and be mindful of the traffic flowing on Bellevue and North and State. The roadways are open.
Hey, let's go, y'all. We have the wall.
Hopefully we don't get a copyright violation for hey, goodbye.
Really came through with Rick there now. Right next to him. They're out there.
Hey Dudesky, yeah, that has been reported. That the thing about Bellevue not receiving an invite and not participating, that was reported by Como. That was reported by one of the Capitol Hill Pride, based on an information request that they had made. So there are a couple of reports that are saying that there wasn't anything there. So. Now that's basically it. Franklin Graham left. Franklin Graham, the event ended about an hour ago, and I think I can confidently say that this is probably the end of the event. So I know that this is short streams of both sides, particularly on TikTok. it was pretty uneventful. We did a lot of live tweeting tonight on our Twitter channel. You can follow us on Twitter. It's Malcontentment T. I believe it's in the bio of, I believe our links are in the bio of across all of our channels. So regardless of the channel you're watching us on right now, you can go ahead and switch over to one of those. But this is basically over. And in the big scheme of things, it was relatively uneventful. We are aware, based on Bellevue Police's Twitter, that there was one arrest. However, that arrest was much earlier in the day, and we have no context if that arrest was in any way related to this protest. And that arrest was much earlier in the day. It was before this group that is aligned to Antifa even showed up. So, like, we don't know. And the reason I'm like going, I don't know if it was any way associated. If you read the report from Bellevue Police from the march that happened here in October, there were a few arrests that happened while the protest was going on. None of those arrests were protest related. Again, I don't know at this point. Anyway, I am going to flip the cameras around real quick. TikTok will do you first. I guess I need to drop this down. All right, TikTok gets a special treatment always. That's okay, I'll give you some other channels. There we go. That's all the other channels. I'm looking over here, hi TikTok. I'm looking over here, hi Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Because TikTok's got to be portrait and everything else is landscape. That's it. You can follow our streams. Really appreciate you follow on for all like the 17 minutes that we were here. There wasn't a whole lot that was going on at this point. I don't need to do a safety walk. I parked at the Hyatt and I made sure before I got in, like, hey, security, and they're like, yeah, you'll be able to get back in. I'm fine, cool. One of the things I observed in the Hyatt as I was going through, a lot of anti-mask cops are visiting with Franklin Graham, which is kind of interesting because, or she's an anti-mask. It's kind of interesting because Franklin Graham, no love for this dude at all, none. But he is very much pro-vax, and he is pro-mask. So I guess they don't care about the message. If you're hearing that bloop bloop and you're seeing it's an ambulance going by, this is one of the main thoroughfares of Bellevue, Washington that I'm on. So again, very likely not anything related to anything that's going on tonight. Anyway, that's it. And with that, TikTok, I'm going to say Malcontent out. And to everybody else, I'm going to say Malcontent out.